What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is...
Yaraboy! Jagables!
Oh, the European Jake is out and he is ready to party. Okay,
Woohoo!
guys. If you guys haven't already, make sure you go ahead and listen to our Week 4 recap. You know, Jake and I, we kind of did a... Oh, Jake's got his 49ers shirt on.
Yeah, baby.
But
for first.
go ahead. Yeah, as they are with everyone else in the division. Everyone's got 2 wins. But technically, I guess the 49ers have the upper hand because they have a divisional win against the Seahawks. So
And the Rams.
going back, Seahawks and Rams. Yeah, geez, what am I talking about? They just beat both. But yeah, good for the 49ers. But yeah, go ahead and listen to our Week 4 recap. We kind of did like a quarter of the way through the NFL season, kind of like our big takeaway from what we've seen thus far. If you guys aren't already, please go ahead, give us a like, comment, subscribe, listen to the first 5 minutes of the video. We greatly appreciate it. We're a small channel we're trying to build. Hopefully we can bring you guys some decent quality videos. So hopefully you guys like this. We're going to do our Week 4 or Week 5 power rankings. And we're also going to preview our Thursday night first game of the week for Week 5. Jake, do you have anything you want to add?
Nope, I'm ready to do it.
All right, let's get into it. So, Jake, starting off at number 32, who's your 32nd team?
Real quick, sorry, I do have something to say. We are doing different power rankings as we've been doing the last couple weeks. So we each have different power rankings, and this is not... I mean, I started basing my power rankings on, since we're a quarter of the way through the NFL season, I started basing them more on record. We're kind of learning more about these teams. Excuse me. But it's not completely based off of record. So just wanted to throw that out there. But number 32, I got the Commanders. They look poo-poo. They look really bad. I mean, they played the Cowboys, so I'm going to give them a little leeway, but they still look poo-poo. So I got the Commanders at 32.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Commanders being down here. I definitely have them near the bottom. I still have Houston here just simply because of the fact that they haven't won a game. I know that they look competitive in most of their games, and I think that they could beat a couple of the teams that are in front of them. I think they could beat a good portion of the teams in the NFL this year. The only reason I still have them here is Davis Mills didn't really impress me too terribly much. The Chargers did have 2 interceptions. The run game looked great. Dameon Pierce looks amazing. Their defense steps up when they need to, but unfortunately they have not been able to pull a win out yet. So I have Houston at 32.
Yeah, that's who I got at 31. The only reason I moved them up was just because they look better to me than the Commanders. I probably should have the Texans at 32, but I just like the fight that the Texans have in them. And, you know, they rushed for like over 100 yards last week. So against a good beaten up Chargers defense. So yeah, I got the Texans at 31.
Okay, so for me, moving down 4 spots, I have Chicago back down here at 31. This offense is just, there's nothing there really. I mean, Justin Fields can make a good play here and there. You know, he finally started passing the ball a little bit more. This offense is just bad though. It plain and simple, this offense is bad. The defense can step up, but Chicago has not impressed me. Unfortunately, they are a bottom tier team in my opinion. So I have Chicago moving down 4 spots to 31.
Yeah, that's who I got at 30. Like you said, that offense is abysmal. There's nothing about that offense that I could hang my hat on. I mean, maybe the running attack is pretty good. But it doesn't fear me in any way, even though they did beat the 49ers. But yeah, I mean,
Week 1,
Justin Fields, man, I'm going to wait until he gets more weapons before I call him a bust because he's on a bad team. I don't know. Maybe Darnell Mooney is not what we thought he would be. Maybe Cole Kmet is not what we thought he would be. David Montgomery is hurt, but I don't know. What do you think about Justin Fields? I think out of that year of, well, besides Trey Lance, I'm not going to say Trey Lance because he's started 3 games and is hurt. So out of the 4 other quarterbacks, I think Justin Fields has to be the worst one out of them all. Or at least, and also in the worst situation.
Jake, you there?
Did I cut out?
Jake, hello? You cut out, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
You said that Justin, yeah, I can hear you now. You were saying that Justin Fields is the worst quarterback from that draft, basically, and I'm assuming you were going to say put in the worst situation.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with the situation part. I think that he still has talent. I just don't like the situation that he's in. I think it's the worst one by far. He still makes a ton of mistakes, some questionable throws, but he's athletic. Like, if he can put it together, if they have a good surrounding cast around him, I think that he will be fine because he has physical traits that a lot of quarterbacks don't have. He has escapability. He's good with his legs. He has a deep ball. He's sometimes accurate, but, I just don't like the cast around him. So I think he's in one of the worst situations.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to compare. I mean, because like the Jets and the Jags were in the same situation as him. They were both terrible teams, but I mean, Trevor Lawrence is putting it together. Zach Wilson, he has his moments, but I mean, Justin Fields, besides his legs, hasn't really. I mean, he made a couple good throws to Darnell Mooney, but I don't know, man. I want to like the guy. He's just. I don't know. I think he's in a bad situation, like we said. But yeah, that's who I got at 30.
At 30 for myself, this is where I have the Commanders. Their offense was just really poor against Dallas's defense, and that could just be a testament to how good Dallas's defense is this year. But yeah, Washington couldn't really get anything going. Their defense hasn't stepped up. I'm not too terribly impressed with them. I think they only have one win. I think they're 1-3 currently. So I have Washington down here at 30.
All right. Dropping 5 spots. I got at 29. I got the Carolina Panthers.
I have Carolina here as well.
Cool. So we don't have to both talk about them. Yeah, I mean, they just look bad. Baker Mayfield hasn't looked good. I think, who did they beat last week? They beat someone last
Saints?
week. Oh, okay, yeah. It's like they beat the Saints and they look dominant, and then they play the Cardinals, who I think the Saints have a way better defense than the Cardinals at the moment. And they just get owned by them. So I don't know. The Panthers they're probably gonna be a 7 and how many games are there?
17 games in the NFL season currently. So.
Yeah, 7 and 10. Would that be 7 and 10?
Yeah, 7 and 10.
Yeah, so they'll probably win 7 games, maybe 8. I don't know. I'm not high on them right now, even with Christian McCaffrey healthy.
Agreed. Yeah, Carolina just doesn't impress me with the eye test. I just don't like what I see too terribly much. Christian McCaffrey's like a shining star for them. I mean, that's pretty much what they got right now. DJ Moore needs to be more involved. Baker's struggling. Defense is still pretty decent, but I don't think it's going to carry them to too many victories.
Yeah.
So yeah,
defense. They have a good defense, not an elite defense.
Correct. I would agree with that. So Jake, who do you have at 28? Oh, Carolina
28.
Dropped 3 spots for me, by the way.
28 dropping 5 spots. Remember 5 because I have a lot of 5-spot droppers. Excuse me. But dropping 5 spots, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know Kenny Pickett. I don't know what he's going to do in the NFL. I mean, at least they made the decision early in the season, so give him pretty much a whole season to, see what they got there. But they just don't look good to me. They have weapons. This could easily be a bottom tier team, a top or a bottom 5. or this could be a playoff team if they have good quarterback play. They have weapons on both sides of the ball. It comes down to quarterback play for me. And as of the moment, neither one of them has impressed, and that's why I got them at 29.
28.
28.
Okay, I just wanted to double check really quick. So at 28, I think this team is actually better than the power ranking would imply. I think that they will end up doing better, but basically just because of the way that they have been losing. I got Detroit down here. I have Detroit dropping 4 spots. I think they're much better than the 28th ranked team, so don't shoot me. I know they had injuries that they were dealing with, especially with one of their best receivers in Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift. Jamal Williams had to take the helm. Jared Goff looks good, but this defense is allowing a lot of points, which is a little bit concerning, especially to a Seattle team, which I'm not too terribly high on. But I think Detroit will turn it around. I think that they're going to be a tough out regardless of who they play. This is a high-scoring offense. It's a high-powered offense. But simply just because of the fact that they're losing ball games right now is why I have them down here at 28.
Yeah, I got them at 27. I think this is where record and the eye test come into play. I think they're better than the 27th ranked, 26 or 28th ranked, 27th for me. I think this is, like I said this last week on our power rankings episode. This is the best Goff has looked in years.
Agreed.
Like he looks. I can't even say. I think elite is being thrown out way too much from my mouth. But he looks decent. He looks like out of like the serviceable backups or the serviceable quarterbacks, like like the Jacoby Brissett, Teddy Bridgewater. He looks the best out of them all. I mean, he was a number 1 overall for a reason. So I do like their weapons. They have fight in them. They're no longer a give me win. And yeah, that's why I got them at 27.
Okay, so at 27, this is where I have Pittsburgh. They've only won 1 game. If I'm not, they're 1-3, correct?
I believe so.
Or have they won 2? Okay, either way,
wrote it down,
mostly because, like you already mentioned, we don't know what we're going to get with Kenny Pickett. I think it's going to be more exciting because I'm more excited to watch him play the Mitchell Trubisky, because I've seen Mitch Trubisky in the NFL. Don't really like what I see, so maybe Kenny Pickett will be a bright spot for them. I think they have a good supporting cast. George Pickens is looking like a top-tier receiver. He's making some of the most ridiculous catches you'll ever see. He's a great receiver. I think Pittsburgh's defense is doing better than it did last year because it was really injured last year. Hopefully TJ Watt doesn't stay out for too terribly long. Hopefully they can get him back at some point in the near future. But yeah, I have Pittsburgh down here because that was a tough loss to a Jets team that's not very good.
Yeah, if they wanted to prove us wrong about their play, they should have beaten the Jets. Even though the Jets aren't an easy team to win over anymore, I don't think. I think this separates bad teams from really bad teams. So, yeah. At 26, dropping 5 spots again, I got the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
I know they were without a lot of weapons, but again, they're one of those wishy-washy teams. I don't know. They could sneak around, make playoffs. They could sneak around and be in the bottom 10 of the NFL. I don't know how to articulate what I want to say about the Saints. They're a very tough team to talk about. And I think there are a lot of injuries. Kamara was out the last game, but then they go and lose, and they go and get blown out to the Panthers, who I have at 29. Or no, we both had at 29. So they're just a very interesting team to me. And I don't know. That's what I got. So yeah, I got them at 26. What do you got at 26?
Okay. At 26, dropping 4 spots for me, this is where I have Pittsburgh. Did I? No. Excuse me. This is where I have the Jets. I have the Jets moving up 5 spots to 26. Excuse me. The Jets had a good win over Pittsburgh. I still have questions about this team. I think they're going to be a tough out, but it's a good win. I had to put them above Pittsburgh because they just beat them, and they have 2 wins, and it's both against AFC North competition, which is interesting because they also beat the Cleveland Browns in a nail biter. So, the Jets are moving up on my power rankings to 26.
Nice. Moving up 4 spots, I got the Las Vegas Raiders. They had a really good win against the Broncos for their first win. And I know what you guys are saying. He's got a 1-3 team all the way up at 25. Well, this is where the eye test personnel come into play. Yes, they're 1-3, but I definitely don't think they're going to be I don't think they're going to be the 25th ranked team at the end of the season. I think they're going to fight for a playoff spot. They have weapons on both sides of the ball. And I think they just need to figure out how to play together as a team. So, yeah, I got the Las Vegas Raiders at 25.
I actually have the Raiders higher than you. So at 25, this is where I have Seattle. I have them moving up 5 spots in my power ranking. I think Seattle had a good win against Detroit. It was just a fun game to watch. The offense looked great. Defense still gave up a bunch of points, but Geno Smith is actually doing better than I thought he would do. So I'm happy for Geno Smith. It's been a long time since he's been a starting caliber quarterback. We'll see what Seattle can do. They're a scrappy ball club right now, but I still don't think that they have the most complete roster, which is why I have them down here at 25.
Wow. I have the Seahawks way higher, unfortunately. At 24, dropping 4 spots, I got the Bailey Zappi-led New England Patriots. I just haven't been high on the Patriots at all. Since we, started doing football strictly. Even before that, when we were kind of wishy-washy with our podcast, I wasn't really high on the Patriots. They're kind of a boring team to watch. They have good defense. They run the ball. Maybe they'll get a big play every once in a while. I don't know. They're just a boring team to watch. And now that they're on their third-string quarterback, they played the Packers really good, so I don't know. But yeah, I got them at 24. I think that's where they belong, honestly.
Okay. At 24, this is where I have New Orleans. I think that they had a good competitive game against Minnesota. They had to travel. But I have them dropping 2 spots here just because there are so many question marks surrounding this team, whether or not Jameis Winston's going to make that big of a difference, whether Michael Thomas can stay on the frickin' field for once in his career. I mean, I know that he had that one year when he was a phenomenal, number 1 receiver, but he struggled to stay on the field. Yeah, he's struggled to stay on the field since then. And then Alvin Kamara needs to stay on the field as well. I mean, Kamara's struggled with injury, but a lot of it's going to come down to quarterback play.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Kamara better get on the field because he's probably not going to get on the field for at least half the season next year. So, yeah. Where are we at? 23?
23, yep.
Yeah, okay. At 23, I got the Indianapolis Colts dropping 5 spots.
Okay. I like it.
Oh, man. The Colts should be better than this. They really should, but... Now, and then this is where I take their record into play. I mean, they're 1-3-1. You can't be a good team and have that record. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe they're.
I think they're 1-2-1.
Oh yeah, there's not something. Yeah, 1-2-1. My fault.
You're good.
Who was their 1 win against?
The Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs. The Chiefs, and they barely won that one. I don't know what it is about the Colts. They're kind of like the Patriots. You know what I think it is? I think it's because we thought the Colts were going to be way better than they are, and they just have not impressed. They're like the Broncos of the AFC. Oh, wait, no. They're both in the AFC. The Colts are like the Broncos. They're just not impressive, and lucky for us, they play Thursday night. Woohoo!
Yeah, so we'll see which division upset.
Yeah,
which
which
team that
mediocre
hasn't lived up to expectation wins that game. I don't know how to word that.
mediocre versus mediocre.
Exactly. So at 23, for me, this is where I have the Raiders. I think this kind of offensive performance is what we were expecting. And, they only do have one win, but I think that they can finally get some steam rolling. I think that they're going to gel a little bit more together. I think this offense is getting going. I think that Josh Jacobs, with the emergence of the running game this year, like really starting to take off with Josh Jacobs, I think it's going to help the passing game. Derek Carr looked better. Devontae Adams got going. You have weapons on the offense and defense. So I think Raiders are going to end up doing a lot better than 23, but this is where I have them right now. I have them moving up 5 spots.
Right on. Excuse me. 22, I got the Jets, man. They're 2-2, I believe. They moved up 5 spots for me. I don't know. I just liked how they won. I liked how they won. Their 2 wins, and they both the God damn, I cannot talk. Both of their wins have come from behind. And that's how good teams. Every game isn't going to be a blowout, but what separates good teams is if you can go when you're down 4 and drive the ball and score with time disappearing. So I like the way they won. I might have them a little higher than people, but I don't know. I just like them there. 22. I got the Jets.
Okay. At 22, I have Atlanta. I have them moving up 3 spots. I think that was an impressive win that they had against Cleveland. I still have question marks. I think that they are playing better than I expected, which I'm happy about, but I want to see even more. They are one of the more exciting teams, in my opinion, to watch. It's kind of like that underdog mentality that I have with them. I kind of root for them when they play these better teams because I like to see upsets sometimes. And I think Atlanta could possibly be much higher than this, but I have them down here at 22. I have them moving up 3 spots, though.
What are the odds the Atlanta Falcons make the playoffs?
Not very high. I would say that currently. Oh man, that's tough. I mean, they possibly could be a fringe 7th wild card spot.
I could see them
make it.
I could see them going 9-8. Honestly,
I could see them. I could see them possibly doing that. Yeah.
The way they're playing, they could go 9-8. I mean, the Bucks haven't been super impressive this year. The Saints haven't been super impressive this year. And the Panthers, we all know about them. But I got them at 21 since we're talking about the Falcons. I love how they're playing right now. Their 2 losses were, they should have won those games, I think. They've been close in every one of their games. And like I said, every game can't be a blowout. You have to learn how to win hard games. And they have weapons on the offensive side of the ball, which I love. Fortunately, Cordell Patterson is hurt. But, Drake Jackson. Not Drake Jackson. Drake London. Jesus. Why can I not name my players today, Dane? Jesus.
It happens. It's late at night also.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's 10:42. We're recording this. This is our time to record late at night, folks. But I like their weapons. And like Jared Goff, I think this is the best Marcus Mariota has looked in years. So yeah, I got them at 21.
So at 21, this is where I have New England. I have them dropping down just 1 spot because it was a competitive game without Mac Jones. And I think that they could have beaten Green Bay, who I have much higher on this list, as we'll get to eventually. But I was impressed. I think New England's defense is doing well. I think their running attack's pretty good. And I think Nelson Aguilar is stepping up and kind of helping this offense. And I don't know, man. They're doing better than I thought. I think it was a competitive game, but I still have to move them down because they did lose it to Green Bay.
Yeah, I want to say that too. Why I have them at 24. They're down to their 3rd string quarterback. I did the same thing for the Cowboys. I think I dropped the Cowboys from the 14th ranked team to the 25th ranked team when Dak Prescott got hurt, and then of course the Cowboys proceeded to make me eat my words. But that's why I dropped them so low. They still have a good defense, a good rushing game. But yeah, I just wanted to defend my ranking a little bit.
No worries.
At
Who do you got at 20?
At 20, I got the 3-1 New York Giants, baby. You know, it wasn't a pretty win. I don't think any of their wins have been pretty. They were right there. They were right in there with they were right there playing with Dallas. Like they were close. Like they had a chance to win. But I don't know. The Giants are one of the teams like the Falcons who have impressed me. I thought they were going to be, you know, bottom 5 like they have been the last couple of years. But I think they're getting it together. I think you know, a good head coach can change things. I still have question marks about their receiving core. I mean, their number 1 receiver was Richie James this last week, and I mean, hold on, Rick. I just got to see who was on their receiving. Daniel Bellinger. Ever heard of him? I haven't.
Yeah, he's their tight end, I believe.
Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of hard to, you know, impress me when they don't have a number 1 wide receiver. So, I mean, they have Saquon, you know, he's, you know, come back from the grave, which I'm so happy about because I loved watching Saquon in college. I loved watching him in his rookie year. But they have impressed me. Like I like what's going on there. And also, what's their new offensive tackle?
Brian Dable.
What's his name?
Oh, their new tackle, Evan Neal.
Yeah, he balled out last week. He didn't give up a single pressure against the Bears, which is something the 49ers couldn't do.
But yeah, I agree. I like the Giants this year, man. And if Kadarius Toney can stay healthy, that'll add a little bit of speed for them, a little bit of shifty playmaking ability. But for me at 20, this is where I have Indianapolis. I have Indianapolis dropping 3 spots. I think that they were competitive in the second half against Tennessee. First half was very abysmal offensively. They just haven't lived up to expectations. Jonathan Taylor hasn't. Matt Ryan hasn't. I think Pittman is probably their best receiver. I think Alec Pierce has potential to have a breakout rookie season if Matt Ryan can figure it out and that offensive line can figure it out. But I think Indianapolis still has a solid defense. So I have them down here at 20. I have them dropping a couple spots, but I think that they will do better than this, but it's hard to tell because the way that they're playing currently, you wouldn't think so. You would think that they're going to be like bottom 10 teams. So they very well could be. They very well could be, but I got them down here at 20. I have them dropping 3 spots.
I think they're the 3rd best team in that division the way they're playing.
I think Jacksonville looks way better than them right now.
Oh yeah. The Jacksonville Jaguars shut them out. And they beat them 2 times in a row. You know, they kicked the Colts' ass to send them home instead of the playoffs last year. So,
right.
Yeah, I think they're the 3rd best team in that division. And you know what? The Texans might mess around and get one on the Colts. It's possible the way they're playing.
I could see it happening. I could see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have at 19?
At 19, dropping 5 spots, I got the Cleveland Browns.
I have them here as well. I have them dropping 5 spots also.
Hell yeah, baby. You know, the Cleveland Browns still have, you know, some players that I really like. They probably have one of the best running back tandems in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I mean, Amari Cooper's there. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's made some plays. Amari Cooper.
Njoku? Isn't Njoku there as well?
Yeah, Njoku. He's good. Ninja Njoku. Remember that? Or is that Ninja Ninjago?
Yeah.
But yeah, I got him dropping just because, you know, they probably should have beaten the Falcons if they wanted to be a playoff team. But I think they took the Falcons lightly. And I think some of the teams that I have ahead of them just impressed me more on the week. So yeah, I got them dropping 5 spots.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that they should have won this game, but they just kind of underestimated the opponent. And Atlanta, you know, took advantage of that. Atlanta's a fun ball club. Cleveland's a little bit on the predictable side because you know that they're going to rely heavily on the run currently, especially because Jacoby Brissett's the quarterback. I mean, he's looked fine. He's looked decent. He'll make a good play here and there, but you definitely know that Cleveland's bread and butter is going to be the running attack. So if you can shut that down, then obviously you can make it much harder for Cleveland to score points. But yeah, I have Cleveland down here at 19 as well. Who do you have at 18?
18 for the highest jump of the week. I got the Seahawks.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, you definitely have them way higher than me. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2-2. They're tied with the Rams and the 49ers and the Cardinals. They put up points, man. It was against the Lions.
Rashad Penny, baby.
Yeah, Rashad Penny balled out. DK Metcalf, looked like DK Metcalf. Can't stand him, but he's an awesome wide receiver. Tyler Lockett got some balls, and most importantly, out of like most of these teams, their quarterback Geno Smith has been balling out. He had his worst game was against the 49ers. Every other game he's been balling out. I hate to talk up the Seahawks, but they don't look as bad. They definitely don't look as bad as I thought they would be. I thought they were going to be the 31st ranked team ending the season. I thought they would. I had them winning one game, and they're 2-2, man. They're 2-2, man, and like their wins have been impressive. I will say that. So I don't know. I got him there. I think Geno Smith has redeemed his early career
Draft capital.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was a first round pick, if I'm not mistaken. He was drafted by the Jets.
It was either first or second.
Yeah, and he was a starter for a couple of years, and then he just, it's been, 6-7 years since he started last, and he's reclaimed his throne, man. And he looks good. Like, he's putting it on the money. He's got weapons. He's got a run game. Yeah, so I hate to talk up the Seahawks, but they look, decent to me.
Yep, agreed. For me at 18, this is where I have Denver. I have Denver dropping 6 spots. Until I see the offense, until I have the offense click, then they're going to be middle of the pack near the bottom. Denver needs to figure out the offense effectively. I mean, I think that they have good plays here and there, especially like Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy has a couple, but Russell Wilson, maybe he's starting to pick it up. I think that he made a couple good drives against the Raiders this last week, so maybe he is getting better. Maybe it just took a little while for this offensive scheme to click with him and all the players to work well with one another, but they did lose to the winless Raiders team. So yeah, and you lose Javonte Williams, which is huge, so that's going to immediately impact the running game, so that's why I have them dropping 6 spots.
Yeah, I still have them in, fringe playoff area, but I agree with everything you said about the Broncos. At 17, jumping up 2 spots, I got the Cardinals. They had a good win against
the Cardinals at 17 as well.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, they had a good win against the Panthers, a team they should beat, especially the way the Panthers are playing. And like I said in our episode yesterday or a couple of days ago, if they can come out of this suspension, this 6-game suspension from D-Hop, 3-3, that's success for them. Because like once D-Hop comes back, they're gonna get the ball rolling, I believe. So yeah, even if they lose the rest, they've already won. I mean, if they went 1-6, okay, that's a problem. But if they've already won 2 games, probably exceeded expectations. If they win one more game, then they'll be fine for the rest of the season. Like, I'm not worried about the Cardinals if they can win one more game. They still haven't and I know it's because D-Hop. They still haven't impressed me. They did play a lot better. Hollywood Brown looked good last week, but I'm waiting for that game where I'm like, okay, Kyler Murray deserved all that money he got. He looks like an elite quarterback. Right now, like I said the other day, he looks like he's just chucking the ball up. I want him to go through his progressions. I don't know if it's the offensive line that is, making it hard for him, not giving him enough time. I don't know, but I'm waiting for him to step up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I have them moving up 4 spots in my power ranking. I think that this was a much better performance. I think that one touchdown throw that he had to Hollywood Brown in the end zone was just, he dropped it in a bucket, man. Like some of the plays you watch him throw, you're just like, what was that? Like he is chucking it up to a certain extent, but then he'll make phenomenal throws. You know, he's still always got the ability to run if he wants. So I think that, like you said, once D Hop's back, it'll definitely improve this offense, and I think they'll get the ball rolling. If they do go 3-3, that's a win in my book as well. But yeah, I have the Cardinals at 17. Who's your 16th ranked team?
Staying put. Couldn't move them up, and I really didn't want to move them behind the Cardinals and the Seahawks. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They did lose, but they impressed me in their loss. They went up probably against, perhaps the number one team in the NFL right now. I mean, they are the only 4-0 team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and they were up 14-0, and they kind of slowed down a little bit more in the half, or the Eagles stepped up in the second half. But, even with that, they still impressed me in their loss. Trevor Lawrence, he kind of had his worst game, I would say, so far. But before all this, they look good. So I got the Jags at 16.
All right, cool. So at 16, this is where I have the Giants. I think the Giants 3 wins, yes, but I don't think it's against the best competition. I think that if they have Kadarius Toney back healthy, if they can add a receiver that can do stuff more than what they have currently, obviously you lose Sterling Shepard, it's going to affect your team. But Saquon's going, Daniel Jones is going. The defense is doing pretty damn good. So I got the Giants down here at 16.
Real quick, we didn't talk about this when we talked about the Giants game. They were down to Wildcat. Daniel Jones got hurt, and then Tyrod Taylor got hurt. So I don't know what that team's going to look like. Actually, if I probably would have thought about that, and if I knew what their quarterback situation was, I might have dropped them a little bit. But, I mean, they still won. They're still 3-1, so I'm going to wait until,
And then Daniel Jones ended up coming back, so that helps.
Yeah, so, I mean, he came in, but he didn't do much. He just handed the ball off. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, Giants, baby. What are we on? What number are we on? 15?
We're on 15. Yep.
All right. At 15, jumping up 2 spots, I got the Tennessee Titans. Pretty dominant win against the Colts, against a division rival, which you would like to see if, you're going to move up at all. Like we said earlier, the Colts, not impressed with, but I'm actually a little impressed with the Titans. I thought they were going to be way worse than they were, way worse than they look. Like, they don't look like they've lost that much of a step. I mean, I know they miss A.J. Brown a lot. They're going to miss Treylon Burks, but they're making it work. And you know what? Giving it to Derrick Henry is their bread and butter anyways, so why not keep doing it? But, yeah, they look, border playoff team. So I like how I got them right next to the Jags, because I think they're going to fight for this division crown.
So that's funny that you say that. I mean, I don't have either of those teams right here. I actually have my boys, the Chargers, but I do have Tennessee and Jacksonville right next to each other when I get to them. But at 15, I have the Chargers. It was a good win, but it was against the Houston Texans. They're scrappy, but they're still winless, so I'm not taking too much into account with that. But they did look a lot better. They looked like they actually had a game plan. They looked like they were actually able to have next man up mentality. Jamari Sawyer looked good. Justin Herbert looked good. Mike Williams was going. Eckler finally got going. Defense stepped up when they needed to, had a couple takeaways. So, yeah, I got the Chargers here at 15. If they can win 2 in a row, then they'll keep jumping up, and I hope that they do, because I'm a Chargers fan. Freaking win for me.
Yeah, win, unless it's weak. I don't even know what week that's going to be.
You're going to win against the 49ers for sure.
Nah, definitely not. Anyways, at 14, this is where playoff teams start coming in, and moving up 1 spot, I got the Dallas Cowboys, man. They continue to impress me with that dominant defense. If not the number one, the number 2. You know, they have a really good defense, and Cooper Rush has been holding it down, man. It's you know, Dak Prescott. You know, I thought they were gonna lose all these games without Dak Prescott. I mean, they did last time Dak Prescott got hurt, but they've won every single game. Yeah, they've won every game that he's been hurt. Right?
Yep.
I'm not tripping, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They're 3-1,
No,
aren't
you're not
they?
tripping.
They're
Yeah,
Are they
they're
3-1?
3-1. They've only lost.
Jesus.
They're 3-1. They only lost the first game that they played.
Jesus. Yeah, that defense, man, is nasty. They have you know, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, you know what they have. But yeah, they've impressed me. So I think that defense is going to carry them, even with Dak back.
Oh, agreed. I think that defense is their bread and butter basically right now.
I don't think their offense. I don't think
Go
their
ahead.
offense. I don't think their offense is elite enough to. How do I say this? To take over games, and I think their defense is going to have to, you know, step up like they have been. And I think the offense is good enough to win games, but I don't think they like necessarily will take over games like they kind of were last year, and years previous.
Agreed.
But you know,
Agreed.
who do you got at 14?
But yeah, at 14 for me, this is where I have the Jags. I have them moving down 4 spots because I actually had them at my 10th ranked team last time. I have the Jags here at 14. It was a competitive match against arguably the best team in the NFL currently with the Philadelphia Eagles. I like what I see, especially from the defensive side of the ball. Watch out for the Jags. They're a scrappy team. They kicked the shit out of my team, so really have a vendetta against them right now. If we get to see them in playoffs, that would be wild. And then I hope we kick the shit out of them. But yeah, I got the Jags here at 14.
Right on. I like them. I like what the Jags are doing.
Louis.
At 13, dropping 2 spots, I got the Broncos. I have no problem dropping the Broncos. Again, not impressed by them in the slightest. The only reason I haven't been dropping them way more is because they've won. They've won in their mediocrity. They just don't look good. And like you said earlier, the loss of Javonte Williams is going to be felt for sure. Melvin Gordon has a fumbling problem. This team is just not looking what they're like the Colts. They're I've already said this. They're not impressive. They're going to play the Colts, and we will see. But yeah, I mean, just not impressed. 13.
Okay.
We'll see.
At
If
13,
they lose another one, I'll drop them even more, and we'll have no problem with that.
Yeah. So at 13 for me, this is where I have Tennessee. I have Tennessee moving up 3 spots in my power rankings. I think it was a good, solid win against a division rival. You know, Derrick Henry, like you mentioned earlier, now that he's catching the ball, it's scary. I mean, it's not always pretty when he catches it, but he's going to have to step up, especially since Treylon Burks is going to probably miss a couple weeks with that turf toe. But yeah, you know, the offense is going to have to get things going, which they are. I mean, their defense is also pretty solid, but you know, when you have one of the best running backs in the NFL, it definitely helps your team out. So I have Tennessee here. It was a good competitive win against a struggling Indianapolis team.
Right on. I like it. All right, at 12, I got the Chargers. They moved up 1 spot. They played the Texans, so I'm not going to move them. I'm not going to go crazy with them. But, you know, they still are dealing with a lot of injuries. And if they keep winning, though, I'll have no problem moving them up. Like, that's a sign of a good team, is just being able to learn to win through adversity. So, good win for the Chargers. They needed it, I think, especially after that bloodbath against Jacksonville. They really needed that win, even though it is against the Texans. I mean, the Texans fought back, so they're a scrappy team. So good win for the Chargers, and yeah, I got them at 12. Not to mention
Jake,
Keenan
I never
Allen.
mentioned this. Go ahead.
Not to mention Keenan Allen is going to be coming back. Mike Williams is still there. They finally started getting Austin Eckler going. Imagine that. So yeah, I think the Chargers will be fine. I hope so. So we'll see. But what were you going to say, Dane?
So as well. I hope so as well. But yeah, for the Chargers, there was some news about Joey Bosa, and it's not very likely, but the time frame that they have for his like when he's supposed to return is the earliest it would be, which I'm hoping it will happen, is against the 49ers.
Hey.
That would just be the perfect story, like bounce back, come back, and then it makes sense to wear the Joey Bosa jersey. So I hope that he's able to make it back within that time period. We'll see. But yeah, for 12, this is where I have Dallas. I have Dallas moving up 3 spots as well. Cooper Rush held down the fort. CeeDee Lamb looks good. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott, Brown, Micah Parsons on the defense. Their entire defense is just looking great. So yeah, I have Dallas here. I think they exceeded expectations without Dak Prescott.
Yep. We can eat our own words now. At 11, dropping 1 spot, I got the Bucks. They did get their offense together a little bit more, but I don't know. I just think their offense, well, I'm not going to say there's one offense before them that is not better than theirs, I don't think, at the moment. But every offense I have before them, actually there's 2, but every offense I have before them is elite, I believe. So, they'll move back up. They're the Bucks. It's Tom Brady. There's just been something off about them. Yeah, I mean, they've lost 2 in a row now. So, no, have they lost 2 in a row? No, yeah, to the Packers and the Chiefs now. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they're finally piecing things together though on offense, which is good, and they still have probably the 3rd ranked defense, I would say. So they'll be fun.
Yeah, their defense is definitely up there. At 11, this is where I actually have a pretty significant drop. I have the Los Angeles Rams dropping to the 11th spot. They got pretty much manhandled by San Francisco. I know it's typical 7-0, like you mentioned earlier. Like Shanahan just has McVay's number, especially during the regular season. But what's concerning me is how reliant they are on Cooper Kupp. Like if you take away Cooper Kupp, you're taking away pretty much the entire offense. And that scares me because it's like moving forward, what happens if they start double teaming or triple teaming them, kind of like they did with Megatron? What happens then? Who's going to step up? And Allen Robinson needs to, but Cam Akers, Henderson, they're not getting the rushing attack going like they need to. Higbee's good, but I mean, you can't rely on your tight end to make everything happen. He's not frickin' Travis Kelce. So I'm a little concerned, but I think their team will be fine.
Yeah, Higbee's a serviceable tight end. Like he's probably one of the better ones, but he's not elite. He's not Travis Kelce. He's not Mark Andrews. He's not even George Kittle. So even though George Kittle hasn't been super effective in the passing attack, he's just been blocking. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I was just a little – I almost dropped them like around that area. I didn't have the balls to, just because I still think the Rams will be fine. But yeah. What are we on, 10? Yeah, we're on 10, huh? So
10, yep.
Dropping 5 spots. I got the Miami Dolphins. And it's unfortunate. And this is only based on the fact that they are going to be led by Teddy Bridgewater for at least a week, maybe more. And I don't know what the health of Tua is going to be like for the rest of the season. I don't know if he's going to contemplate. I mean, I would, if I'm being honest, if I was in Tua's shoes, I would definitely be contemplating retirement. That shit's real. Like CTE is real. There's been, several players, like you said in our episode yesterday, Andrew Luck retired because he was just not worth it anymore. He's already made millions of dollars. I don't know. And he missed his entire last season of college football because of a broken hip. He's been hurt every year in the NFL. So it's just unfortunate for Tua. They have a really good team still, but we've all been through the Teddy Bridgewater experience. and he's
Teddy Two
good
Gloves
at-
does not make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, he's been serviceable at times, but he just can never bring teams over that hump. So that's why I got him at 10.
Okay, at 10 for me, this is where I have Cincinnati. I have them moving up 3 spots. It was a good win against the team that you were basically just talking about by Tua. I think that, they won their second game now. Their offense looks better. Their defense looks good. I think that they'll be higher than 10. I think they're going to be a playoff team more likely than not. But they did struggle early on. Who knows if they could have other games where they struggle like they did in the beginning of the season? I don't think so, but it is a possibility. I have Cincinnati here at 10.
Right on. At number 9, I got the Vikings staying put. They've been winning, but the way they've been winning has been. They have such weapons on that offense, and I think they should have a really good defense, but I don't know what it is. It's like, is it Kirk Cousins? Is it just that cursed franchise? They've been winning, but it hasn't been dominant like I would have liked it, but they have been winning. I got them at 9. Staying put.
At 9, this is where I have Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay dropping 1 spot because they lost to a good Kansas City team. Unfortunately, their defense got torched in this game. So I don't think that that's like a good representation or reflection of how good this defense actually is, because they are one of the better defenses in the league. Tom Brady, that offensive line is still struggling because of injuries. So I think that once they get everyone healthy, this team will be solid. Tom Brady looked fine this game. It didn't look like he was struggling like he's been every other game. I mean, they scored 31 points this week instead of under 20 or whatever they've been scoring recently. So I'm not too concerned about them moving forward. I think they'll be a good team. I think they'll probably make playoffs. I have them here at 9.
Yep, I agree with you. At 8, I got the Los Angeles Rams dropping 4 spots. Like you said, man, they got manhandled by the 49ers, and you said it perfectly. They have become so one-dimensional. Like, I get it. And, we probably should have seen this coming. Matthew Stafford did the same thing when he was in Detroit with Megatron. All he did was throw to Megatron. He's a good quarterback. Like, he can throw to other receivers. I don't know why he doesn't choose to. Maybe the other receivers aren't just getting open. I'm not really watching the tape. I'm not a freaking tape watcher like that. I just watch the games. I don't know when we're going to call this Allen Robinson experiment over. Like, he hasn't done anything in a month of football. Literally, he has 1 touchdown, maybe like 4 receptions in a game. Like, he had 2 receptions against the 49ers, I believe. He just has not been doing anything on offense. I don't know what the heck is wrong. I just want to see. Yeah, he had 2 receptions for 7 yards. Like, that's pathetic. And
he's definitely struggling to get open, in my opinion. I think that I don't know, man. There is something going on, but yeah, he is struggling to get open.
Yeah, so I mean, they got to figure it out. I'm sure they will. They have a great coach. They have a great quarterback. They're won the Super Bowl for a reason. They did the same thing last year. They had a good stretch where I think Matthew Stafford threw a pick 6 like in 4 games in a row or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Something stupid. He does have a turnover problem, but he's a gunslinger. Like, Brett Favre had a turnover problem as well. He had the most
Rivers had a turnover problem also.
Gunslingers are going to intercept the ball, but they're also going to win you games and put their life out on the field for you and the team. Right. So they'll be fine. I just hope they can get that offense going. Well, actually, I really don't hope they do. I wouldn't care if they didn't win another game, but they will. They will get that offense going. So yeah, I got them at 8.
At number 8, this is where I have Minnesota. I have them moving up 3 spots, even though that they're winning by field goals or just points. Chargers did that in 2018 and made it past the Baltimore Ravens, and they made it to the divisional round. So I think that this team's legit this year. Justin Jefferson is easily one of the best receivers in the game. Dalvin Cook's good. And anytime he seems to dislocate his shoulder, he just puts that bionic like technology on and he just trucks people. I don't know what it is, but I think Minnesota's a good ball club this year. I think their defense will step up a little bit more as they kind of gel with one another. They haven't been as impressive as I thought they would be, like they are on paper, but they're still serviceable. They're still good. Minnesota 8. I have them moving up 3.
Do you think Kirk Cousins is a problem for that offense?
Yes.
Yeah,
because he struggles in primetime games. He struggles under when he knows that there's a majority of people watching him. I feel like the pressure gets to him. I feel like he crumbles under pressure.
Yeah, I don't know what is wrong with him, man. I mean, he goes from throwing 500 yards in a game to no touchdowns, interceptions. I don't know if he'll ever figure it out. I think as long as Kirk Cousins is their quarterback, I don't think they'll go anywhere further than, a couple playoff wins. I don't think they'll win a Super Bowl with him because they have a good team. They do. They have pieces. If Justin Jefferson is what is not to love about Justin Jefferson? If you don't like Justin Jefferson, go F yourself because he's one of the best, one of the most exciting young wide receivers in this game right now.
Agreed.
At number 7, I got the Cincinnati Bengals. They had a good win against a good Miami Dolphins defense. They didn't get players hurt on defense. So unfortunately, the Dolphins weren't able to keep up without Tua. Tyreek still got his, but Bengals are who I thought they should be. They're who we thought we should be. But they have an elite team. I think they'll figure it out. They've made upgrades on the offensive line. I think that's what's kind of turning their season around a little bit. And I know it's only been a month of football, but the season is long. It's not what you do at the beginning of the season; it's what you do at the end. So I think they'll pick it up. They're too good. They have too good of players to not pick it up. So I think that's why I got them at 7.
Agreed. All right, at 7, I have Baltimore dropping 3 spots. It was a good competitive match. Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I have at 6, so we could just lump this together.
Okay. So, Baltimore, I have them dropping a couple spots. They did play Buffalo. The reason I ended up dropping them 3 spots and compared to 1 or 2 is simply because they're giving up leads. They've already given up a lead to Miami. Now they gave it up to Buffalo. So it's when it comes time to putting the game away, they need to figure that out this year. And I don't know if that's defensively just the scheme of it, if they're playing soft cover 3 or whatever they go to, but they need to figure that out because the offense is putting up points, especially against Buffalo's defense. Even though it's injured, you still put up enough points to stay competitive. Lamar is doing enough. Lamar's having a great season. Devin Duvernay is having a good season. Rashad Bateman's having a good season. J.K. Dobbins just came back. So I'm not worried about them, but I do sometimes worry that, the Chargers, they let teams come back, and that's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I just want to reiterate on Lamar Jackson. He is such a baller. I love Lamar Jackson. If I was, those fans that are just I'm a football fan, but I will never wear another team's jersey or hat. There are people who wear they wear player jerseys just because they like them. If I was like that, I would definitely get a Lamar Jackson jersey just because I love that dude. But I can't drop them too much. I kept them still at 6. They played a good Buffalo Bills team. That's all I can say. It could have gone either way. Honestly, they could have won if they didn't let them come back. But the Ravens will be fine. They're definitely an elite offense, and they'll be fine.
Okay.
What do you got at 6?
At 6, this is where I have Miami. I have them dropping 4 spots because I was much higher on them since they were undefeated before this last week against the Bengals. But I have Miami dropping 4 spots. Missing 2 is going to actually hurt them because who would have thought that I would have been saying that at the beginning of the year?
I know.
Tua looked good. He looked like he was leading this team. They looked solid. I mean, they're still going to be solid. They have weapons surrounding Teddy Bridgewater. Hopefully Teddy Bridgewater can do enough before Tua comes back, so that way they're not dropping too many games. But this defense is still really good. Their offensive pieces are still really good, so I'm not too concerned about them. But like Jake mentioned earlier, like Tua's got health issues, and so it is a little bit alarming, especially because an unaffiliated doctor misdiagnosed or like or did the incorrect testing procedure. So hopefully it's nothing serious with the concussions, but it is alarming.
I will say this. What are the chances that Tua sues the NFL, gets millions of dollars, and then retires? He won't even need to play football.
If he decided that he was going to retire, I think that's the route he should go. Either that or at least sue the doctor.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get some kind of compensation, I would say, unless there's something in contracts or NFLPA or whatever where you can't do that. But the way he was wobbling in week 3 and the way he was, I don't know what it's called, but with his fingers, the way he was doing that in week 4, I haven't seen that in a long time.
I mean, like watching Donald Parham when he had his concussion, like straight up, just like
it's very
type stuff with your muscles.
Yeah, it's very frightening to see. And I mean, did Parham play after that?
No,
after that last season,
he was out for the rest of the season, and
he's still out.
Well, he's still out because of a hamstring. Like this year, it's completely different. He's just a pussy, or excuse my language. He's a vagina right now. But he should be. He's expecting to play against the Browns, so hopefully he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I had to put money on it, I would bet that Tua really, really considers retirement. Like he's just been hurt for the last 5 freaking years, man. In college through the NFL, so I don't know, man. It's gonna be a situation to monitor for sure.
Agreed. By the way, Donald Parham, if you ever hear this, I was kidding about you being a pussy. You're a beast.
Yeah, you would fuck us up if you had a chance. But I mean, we could try. I'll get some pads and we can go freaking Oklahoma drill, buddy.
Just hurdle your ass,
dude. But you can't just hurdle. You gotta hit.
All right. I mean, 6'7", so
I'll take him on. I've taken on bigger, baby. All right. At number 5, I got my boys, the San Francisco 49ers, moving up 3 spots.
5 as well.
Hey, that means we have the same top 4. And I have an interesting top 4. But let's talk about number 5. I said that there's like 2 offenses that aren't really elite above the Buccaneers, and this is one of them. I still have question marks about them. I know they can be elite. I'm just going to blame it on Jimmy G having a slow start, not really getting those reps in, but they have weapons, man. Like, I mean, let's state the obvious. Debo, like, he's ridiculous. He's just absolutely ridiculous. George Kittle, when healthy, I'll say this, he's the best overall tight end in the NFL, blocking and catching, because that's what a tight end does, Travis Kelce.
And yards after catch.
Yes,
or yards after contact. Yeah.
And Brandon Ayuk, man, like he has been since the end of the last season, he has been stepping up, man. And I love to see it. He is a good wide receiver. He's definitely he's a good number 2 option. And then if we get that run game going, we'll be fine. But honestly, the reason I got him so high at 5 is that defense.
That's why I have them here as well, especially after the performance they had against the Rams. It's hard not to have them up here with how good that defense is.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what they'll do against a mobile quarterback. So it's going to be interesting when they play, Kyler Murray or they do play Mahomes this year, or Justin Herbert's pretty mobile. So it's going to be interesting. So Matthew Stafford is not that mobile, so that's why they probably, killed him. Not really killed him, but they killed him on the game. So yeah, I mean they have an elite defense, so that's why I got him at 5. Not much more else to say.
Yep, agreed. Who you got at 4?
Packers.
I'm just, dude. I got the Packers at 4 also.
Hey. Yeah, I mean it was an ugly win for them, but
they did it.
Yeah, they did it. Like I said earlier, you can't have all dominating wins.
I think that this offense will get better. I really do. I think their receiving core is really young. You got Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, both rookies. Allen Lazard's still a younger wide receiver, and then you got freaking old man River Randall Cobb out there still running decent routes.
Yeah, man, I can't believe that dude's still playing. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure they will get it together. And the number one, like, they have Aaron Rodgers, man. Like, if he's probably one of the most athletic quarterbacks that the NFL has had. I still think I think he's a better. How would I say this? I mean, you know, they always compare to Tom Brady. Like, obviously, Tom Brady's the GOAT, but Aaron Rodgers, I think, is a better quarterback, if that makes sense. I think he's more accurate. He's mobile.
I think he's got a better arm too.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers is just a beast, at least for football. But yeah, the Packers will be fine. They're gonna contend for that, you know, number one seed, I think, in the NFC. I think as far as the NFC goes, I guess we still have the Eagles. They're definitely going to compete for that number one seed, though, against the Eagles and probably the 49ers and maybe the Rams if they can get their shit together.
Agreed.
Who do you got? You got anything else to say about the Packers?
No, not really. I think their defense steps up when they need to. I think that Aaron Rodgers will he'll elevate the play from the rookie receivers that he has. So I think they'll be fine. Aaron Jones is a great running back. Same with AJ Dillon. So as it gets colder, I think they'll really start to thrive in that running game as well. At 3, how about I take the first one? Let's see if we got the same number 3. I got Kansas City here.
Nope. I got a different one.
All right. So at 3, I have Kansas City here. I have them moving up 3 spots. You know, it was a good win against a tough Tampa Bay defense, and their offense looked elite. It's so interesting just because the week before when they played the Colts, they literally shot themselves in the foot, and their offense was looking abysmal. But this week they're looking back to the same old Kansas City Chiefs that I love and hate at the same time. You know, it's a fun offense to watch, but as a Chargers fan, it's a very annoying seeing them be this good every year in and year out. But yeah, Kansas City, good win. Got them here at 3.
Yeah, so for the first time ever in my history of my power rankings, I have a team who won, who dropped. I got the Buffalo Bills. And it's not a fault on them that they dropped. I still think they're a top 3 team, obviously. The 2 teams in front of them were way more dominant in their wins. And the Bills look good. Like, they came from behind. They played a good Baltimore Ravens team. But literally the only reason I got them moving down to 3 is because the Chiefs and the Eagles look way better than them. And they are dealing with some injuries, unfortunately. But I think they'll be fine. They're probably still the number 1 team in the AFC for sure. Or, you know, if not the number 1, the number 2, because the Chiefs are just, every time you try to write them off, they just come back annoyingly. But yeah, I got the Bills at number 3, which means you have
I have the Bills at 2.
Yep.
I have the Bills at 2. You know, it was a good comeback win against Baltimore. It's a tough place to play. They are dealing with injuries, so I think when they finally get healthier, this team's going to be right back to that number 1, in my opinion. I think a healthy Bills team would outperform a healthy Philadelphia team. That's just my opinion, because it's tough. It's tough to say right now, but just like on paper and the way that they played against the Rams when they were healthy, it looked like how the 49ers dominated the Rams. Like, yeah, their defense was elite, and it's still very good, but it is banged the F up. But yeah, Josh Allen and his connection with Stephon Diggs, it's unmatched right now. I mean, Stephon Diggs was dealing with an injury, so that's why it hasn't been as elite as it was the first couple weeks. But yeah, I got Buffalo here at 2.
I think that's the best overall quarterback and wide receiver matchup. You have arguably a top 5 quarterback, top 3, top 4 maybe. I don't know. It's hard to, you know, put them in order at that point. But and then you have a top 10 wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. That's such a good quarterback wide receiver duo. At number 2, I got the Chiefs, moving up one spot, just trading with the Bills. Like you said, how the Bills dominated the Rams, that's how I felt about the Chiefs. Like they dominated the Bucks, and the Bucks have a good defense. I think that Bucks have a better defense than the Rams for sure. The Rams are weird because they have like 2 of the best players in the NFL, like at their position, in Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, probably both Hall of Famers. I mean, Aaron Donald for sure is a Hall of Famer. I'm not so sure about Jalen Ramsey. He probably will be though. But they don't have that dominant of a defense. Whereas the Bucks, they have a dominant defense, and they got owned by the Chiefs. So that's the only reason I got the Bills and the Chiefs switching, is just because the Chiefs had a better win to me. Patrick Mahomes is just stupidly ridiculous.
He's
annoying.
Patrick freaking Mahomes. I hate it.
He's Patrick freaking Mahomes. I'm so lucky. Now you know how I felt with, Russell Wilson in the division for years. And now you have Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. So good luck with that. But yeah, the Chiefs, they have a complete team. They have a complete elite team. And, they don't miss Tyreek Hill, which is surprising.
Because they can just pass the ball to anyone. Patrick Mahomes has so many different receivers he can get the ball to. I don't think any of them are as good as Tyreek Hill, but when you had Tyreek Hill, you kind of almost fed him more because of how good he was. And then if they lock down that receiver, then who do you go to afterwards? But now you got like Juju, Sky Moore, McCole Hardman. You got Travis Kelce, obviously still, Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
One thing I will say that I actually didn't even think about, which gives the Chiefs an edge for me to the Bills, is their run game. They were able to run the game easily against probably the best rush defense in the NFL. They have running backs, and the Bills, they have running backs, but they're not. They probably have one of the worst rushing attacks out of these elite teams. So yeah, I mean it's who you guys think, like, the Bills, Chiefs, whoever, they could go back and forth, but that means at number 1 we both have the 4-0
defeated Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. I mean, this defense is nasty. This defense is really top tier. I'm really pissed that I had them at the beginning of fantasy, and then after Detroit scored however many points, I drop them, and then I tried picking them up on waivers, and you got them instead. But this defense is legit this year. It kind of reminds me of when they had the Super Bowl run and won it against New England. This offense looks great. Jalen Hurts looks great. AJ Brown looks great. Devontae Smith. Dude, everything about this team just looks legit.
Their run game, besides Jalen Hurts. Did you say Jalen Smith or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Whatever. It's late, bro. But yeah, like the rushing attack besides Jalen Hurts is improving. Miles Sanders had 140 yards rushing, and you put that on top of Jalen Hurts, and that's a dangerous combination. And you add that he can actually throw the ball this year, and he has weapons in Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. Yeah, the Eagles they're scary. I think it's their number 1 seed to lose, honestly. And I'm glad we were both high on them. I like it a lot.
Yep.
So those are our power rankings, folks. Let's get into our week
Thursday night
preview. Dane.
All right. So for week 5, starting off the week, sorry guys that this is a little bit longer one, but we appreciate your time if you wanted to catch our opinion on the Thursday night game. We have the struggling Indianapolis Colts traveling to Denver to play the struggling Denver Broncos. Both of these offenses are not meeting expectations. That's first and foremost. They have not lived up to the hype that they were getting in the offseason. I would say more so Denver than Indianapolis. With Indianapolis, it's more so like Jonathan Taylor isn't doing as much as people expected, especially the fantasy community. Everyone in the fantasy community is losing their minds that he is not putting up the numbers that they expected, especially since he was typically drafted at the 101 spot. But yeah, both these teams have decent defenses. I think Denver has home field. It's in Denver, so they have home field advantage, which could play a factor. But they did just lose Javonte Williams. So as of right now, dude, I feel like these two teams are very similar, and it is a very tough matchup to choose between.
I agree. I just wanted to touch on the injury report for both teams. You already mentioned that Javonte Williams is out for the season, but we have a bunch of questionables on the Denver Broncos. We got Russell Wilson questionable, Dalton Risner, one of their guards, is questionable. Caden Stearns questionable. K'Wan Williams, their nickelback, is questionable. Miss you, bro. Melvin Gordon is questionable. And then on the Colts side of the ball, we got Shaquille Leonard. He's out. He's been out. Tyquan Lewis. And then we got my boy DeForest Buckner is questionable. Their starting center. Their starting center is questionable. And then Jonathan Taylor is also questionable. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to end up playing, but the Broncos have a stout rush defense. I honestly don't look, if you have him in fantasy, which I have Jonathan Taylor in one of my leagues, don't look for him to get you a lot of points, because I believe the Broncos are gonna, stuff this rush game. If I just had to throw a win or a pick out there, I would go with the Broncos. Home field advantage. Hopefully they'll still have Russell Wilson. But the Broncos should win this game. I think on paper they're still a better team. But this one's hard. I don't know. What do you think, Dane?
So you're going with Denver, right?
At a first glance.
Okay. Shit. It sucks because I have not picked a Thursday night game incorrectly yet, and I'm worried that this will be the first one that I guess incorrectly. However, I have a weird, my gut's telling me Denver, but I have this weird feeling where I want to pick the Colts. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. I'm going to go against the weird feeling. I'm going Denver. I'm going to choose the home team. I think that I don't know, man.
It's definitely a hard one.
You know what? I'm going back. Locked and loaded. Final answer: Indianapolis Colts. I think Javonte Williams is really going to make this team struggle running the ball.
I agree with that, but they never really got the run game to go with or to get started, even with Javonte Williams. He never really got going. Is that right? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's late, guys. But I think, I've lived with Russell Wilson in the NFC West for years now, and when I've tried to count Russell Wilson out, he's gone around and kicked my ass. So I'm still going to go with the Broncos.
Okay, so Jake and I disagreeing for the second week in a row on Thursday night games. We will see if Jake gets the upper hand on me this week.
Both coming off a loss.
Yeah, both teams coming off a loss. That is true. And both teams not very good as of what we've seen for the first quarter of the NFL season.
Yes. All right, Dan, let's wrap this episode up.
Yep. Thank you, guys. If you're not already, please go ahead and give us a follow on our Instagram at cannonballs_podcast. We'd greatly appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. And Jake, I'll let you do your famous little piece.
It's late, guys. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, peace.